Now, what we have seen so far, we have seen that how to create the Docker image by using the commit command, which is a kind of a manual process. And second one is the by using DockerHub. Right. So now, um, what we will uh, we will see that that how we can. So we will see that how we can basically push a particular Docker image, so that push a Docker image to somewhere, some registry, so that we can share with others. As I mentioned earlier, containers you cannot share, but images you can share. So there are multiple ways to share the Docker images. Right. So now today's topic is share the Docker images. Now Docker images, it doesn't matter that whether you are using Azure DevOps, whether you are using uh, AWS, right? Or you are using normal generic tools. So Docker image is Docker image. Now we need to keep onto some server. We need to keep it on some server so that there are some developers, those who are using these Docker images. So instead of sharing with them, um, instead of sharing with them through there is a command, we will discuss that command. There is a save and load command. Okay. So save and load command is basically the one, with the help of that, what you can do. You can share the image, you can say in the informal way. What is informal way? For example, you are having some code, some source code, right? So you are having some code, and you want to put it into the GitHub repository. If you want to put that code into the GitHub repository, then it means you are putting into your branch, then your code owner will review that code. So instead of that, what do you want to do? Means you want to do that at last, you want to do this way only, but you want that someone else have a look into your code. So you send a mail to your senior, maybe to your friend or someone who can just check your code. So you send that mail, or maybe you are sharing with the pen drive, or maybe some shared folder. So you are not using the method that where he will download the code from your GitHub repository and then he will review. Instead of that, what you're doing, you're saying just sending that mail to with the code to your colleague or to your senior, that just have a look, then I will push it into the GitHub repository. So this process is not a standard process. This is non-standard, right? So if there is something is required to change, then you will change, you will send it again. So this is very helpful. It is not a standard way, but this is, in our practical life, we do like this only, right? So if you, for example, you are writing the code and I'm your senior, okay, and there is a code owner. So before you send it to the code owner, and code owner will say, oh, these are the errors. This is not expected standard coding technique. You send it to me. So you are not pushing it to the GitHub repository. Similar way, when you create a Docker image, so one way is that you push it into the registry, okay, some repository. That is a standard way. But before sending it to the, repository, what do you want to do? You want to just send it to someone else or your colleague or whosoever you think that let me just give it to that person and that person uh, will check that uh, so everything is fine or not. Then I will push it into the repository. Then we use the save and load command. Okay. So let us try this command first. Then we will see how to push to the server. So for that, I will go to my machine, which I have on portal.azure.com. I go to my virtual machine. I'll start this. So let me open mobile stream side by side. Source up. Okay. So now what I will do, let me see if I have a Docker image. So if I say Docker images, so I don't have any Docker image, let me download a Docker image. So I will say doc. So let me clear the history first. And I will say that um, Docker. I will pull some Docker image, say pull Nginx. Or you can create your own Docker image and that is, it can be anything. I'm not doing all that process, creating a Docker image and uh, then use the save and load command. I'm considering this is the Docker image. Now, this is not a actual Docker. Actually, there is a command Docker image tag. So you can give a tag to your Docker image. Means tag is not creating a new image. It's a new name to the Docker. Means there will be multiple names for the single Docker image. So if I say for my Nginx, I will call it as my Nginx. Okay. So this Docker image is tagged. So what will happen if I say Docker images? Now you can see there are two images. One is Nginx and second is my Nginx. Both are same actually. It is same like uh, if your nickname and your school name is not the school name, is yours means whatever you called in the school. So, but you are the same person. So here, the same thing. Nginx and my Nginx both are same. See, the image ID is same. Everything is same. Only that we now identify this Docker image with two names. So with the image tag command, you can do that. You can create multiple names also. Now here, if you see that my Docker image, which is my Nginx, for example, I want to share with others. So whenever you are sharing the Docker image, right? So Docker image is not a, most of the time it is not a single file. It is the set of instruction layer. If you remember in the Docker file I have created, a Docker image, custom Docker image, which is having a lot of, instruction layer with the run and so on, right? Add, run, from. So here, if you think that I will share this directly copying a file, that's not possible because it is spread across with multiple, you can say, instruction layers or encrypted files. So what I will do, I will first way is that use the save command. So what it will do, it will create a tar file for your Docker image. If there is a file get created, then file I can share with others, right? File I can share with others, but image I cannot share. So let us see. If I say Docker save, and you can use -o for output of greater than symbol, and my Nginx image dot tar file. I want to create this Docker save my Nginx. This is my image name, and I want to create a tar file which is my Nginx dot tar file. So this will be a file now. You can see my image.tar. Now I can share this tar file with others, right? Because it's a file now. I can send across with the mail. I can zip it and send it through shared file, shared folder. So what now? Let me do one thing. Let me remove all the Docker images. So if I say Docker RMI, if I remove my Nginx, if I say Docker RMI and Nginx also, I'm removing both the Docker images. Now you can see Docker images, there is no Docker image. Now consider this is a system where you have sent that file. Now you need to extract this file. Now to extract the image from the file, we use Docker load command. I will say Docker load, and you can use that file name, which is my nginx.tar file. Now this file is extracted and it will give you the Nginx, my Nginx. Now all these layers are extracted. Now if I say Docker images, so you can see that my Docker images extracted. Now that person can create a container, run this image, and he can then tell to you that these are the problem, these are the things, or everything is fine. Do you understand the purpose of save and load command?
Yes, sir. Clear.
Now, let us talk about one more command which is called import and export command.
Sir, just one doubt. So, what is the command in Linux for unzipping the file? tar is used for zipping the file, right?
Save command. So I have used this command to create a tar file. What is your question?
So, in Linux, what is that command for zipping and unzipping the file? I think tar is same command for in Linux also, right?
Yes,
Linux.
tar my. So here, if you are using Docker, then Docker save and load. But uh, in the Linux, it is tar -c to create -x to extract.
Correct. Oh, man.
CVF means verbose
Hmm.
and file, so that you can and right. So now next one is import and export commands. So these are same as save and load, but it works on container instead of Docker image. So instead of Docker image, because in the save what we are doing, we are using the Docker image. Right? Import and export we use for the container. What does it mean? For example, uh, if I create a container, if I say Docker container run minus ID, name of the container I will say C1, and I'm using the Docker image, which is my engine. Right? So Docker container get created. Now, if I say Docker and PS minus A, so one container is running. So what I want to do from this container, see earlier what we have done, we have created the image, and from image we have created one tar file. And that tar file I have sent it to my friend, and he is basically extracting with the load command, and he is able to see the that image. Now, next is that you want to um, you have created a container. Now, from container, you want to create a Docker image. One way is that commit we have used. So there will be 2 or 3 steps. You can use a commit, create an image, and then save and load. But instead of doing that thing, what you can do, you can directly use import and export. So I will say Docker and export, right? Container C1, and I want to give a file name as my image name as web image. Right? Docker export container minus O, I believe. So now you can see there is a Docker image get created from this container. So if I say Docker, oh sorry, my bad, my bad. I need not to create a image. I need to create a tar file. So the tar file is created from this container C1. Now, if I say Docker images, right, there is no web image, but if I say ls, so there is a web image.tar file. Let me remove this web image. So I'll say rm web image. If I say ls, so web image.tar file. Now, now this tar file I can share with my friend, and I'll say, okay, can you create a Docker image from that? So he will use Docker import and image, web image. So what he will do, sorry. So it will be import, and we need to give the image name, web image. So what it will do, it will extract the tar file and create a image, and it will have everything, whatever we are having in that Nginx Docker image. Now, if I say Docker images, so you can see that there is a web image get created. 10 seconds, right? So this way we can use the import and export command. So save load from image to tar and tar to image. Port export uh, from container to file, tar file, and import from tar file to image. Do you understand this?
So clear.
So just have a look after this, once it is finished. Now, let me delete all these Docker images, Docker. Let me remove the container first. See,
And so what is recommendable to share the container or to share the Docker
image, image only. In the import export, even though you are using a container as the input, but output is image only.
But image is a read only and container is a, so we can write. So it's
Yes,
not,
yes.
so, but it's easy to modify it again.
So image, if you want to modify, you need to create a container from that image. Then you can then a write layer is added on top of that.
And suppose there is a request from a developer that please share me the image. I just need to modify it. So I will share the container with him.
Container you cannot share. You need to convert that either use import export command, or you can use a commit command, create a Docker image, and from Docker image you can then share the means with Docker image. Then you can share with the save load command, or there are some other ways which I will be discussing. Container you cannot share. No, next thing is that I want to. So this is not a standard way. What is the standard way? So this is your system, and you are creating the Docker images, and you want that others can share. So you can put it into the some repository. So it could be your DockerHub. So if your company has purchased the DockerHub account, then it will be the DockerHub, right? And if your company has a, you know, if your company is basically having your repository on, say, cloud, this is also cloud DockerHub, but you are having on Azure repos, you are having on AWS. So first we will see how we can push our Docker image to DockerHub so that, and DockerHub is the one official website or official repository. So it gives you the facility that as a user, you can upload your Docker images publicly, right? Or privately. So if you use public, anyone can use it. Private, it means only you or your collaborators, they can use it. Okay. So this is, let me do one thing. Let me first go to the Docker Hub and create an account. I already have the account, but if you want to create, you just need to follow simple steps. It's not a hard thing. You just need to go to hub.docker.com and you need to sign up here. Once you sign up, there will be one, and you will be getting one email on your email account from the Docker side that um, right, from the Docker side that you need to acknowledge that you are only the one who is creating this account. So I already have the account. So let me log in with my account. So I will create it. I can create my own repository. You can see I have some Docker images, right, which are here. And you can use this Docker. It means these are publicly available, so I can use it, right? Now, once you are having the account, so under your repository, you will see your Docker images which you have created. Now, if you see here, my Docker images are started with my account name. So this is my account name, Raman Sharma 95. So /web image. So web image is web image is my image name. So let me do one thing. Let me just go into this image. And you can see this is the, you know, if I want to see the public view. So I can see the public view, how public can download this. See, so far there are 84 downloads for this. The size of my Docker image is this. And if someone wants to download it, they can download it. So it is publicly available, means anyone can do that. So what I will do, I will go to manage repository. And if you think that I don't want to use, I don't want this particular Docker image. So what we can do, we can delete also. So I'm deleting this. I just need to write web image and delete forever. So now that image I have deleted. Right? That's getting deleted. Right? So my Docker image name always starts with the my account name / and then the image name. So what we will do here, we will have some Docker image, also Docker full Alpine image. Alpine is a Docker image, which is for Ubuntu Slim Docker image. Slim means it is very lightweight if you see Docker images. So you can see that Alpine image size is only 8 MB. So consider this image I want to push to my Docker Hub account. So step number one, now to push the Docker image to Docker Hub, we need to log in. We need to log in from our terminal to Docker Hub account. So what I will do, Docker login minus username, my username, and then it will ask for the password. Now in the password, it will not take, earlier it was taking the password, which is the Docker Hub password, my account password. But now these days, it is not accepting that. Instead of that, we need to create a token. So to create a token, step. So here we will account settings, personal access token. So we need to go here and we need to generate a token. Token name you can give. This is the description. Right. So I will say this is token 111. Expiration date after 30 days. And it is for read-only access. No, I want to give read and write access. Read, write, and delete access. So it means from my local system, if I want to read, write, or delete, we can perform that action. So this token is created. Once this token is created, so this is the token. So we need to copy it somewhere because it will not be visible once it is, if you go to the other screen, this will not be visible again. So you need to note down somewhere. So what I'll do, I'll just put it into a notepad. Sorry. So I will go and copy that token here. It will not show. So see, login get 6 So I'm able to log into my account. Now what I want to do, I want to push my Docker image to Docker. Now to do that, first the name of the image should be started with the name of the image should be started with your DockerHub account. So now if I say Docker images, so consider I want to push my Alpine image. Alpine, I have downloaded it from the DockerHub only, but consider this is your custom Docker image. Now what you need to do, first you need to use Docker image tag. And I want to tag this Docker image, which is Alpine image, to my account name, which is this one, slash. You can give any name. I will say my Alpine. So I have a, so my Alpine, right? So now if I say Docker images, so you can see there is a Docker image name which is called Alpine, my account name slash my helper. Now I want to push this Docker image to DockerHub so that others can use it. So I'm already logged in with my account. So I will say Docker push and this image now. Now this image is getting pushed to my Docker Hub account and it is pushed. Now if I go back to my Docker Hub account, and here you can see that the Docker image, my Alpine is available. Now anyone can download it. Now currently because I'm using the free trial account, right? So if you want to upgrade, you can do so many things on with the help of the Docker Hub. For example, if I open this my account, here you can add your description, category, tags, etc. Right? For example, if you push with a tag, so you just need to say Alpine colon, say this is version 10. So you can push it like this also. So those tags will be visible here. Right. Now, here you can see upgrade plan. So when you want to upgrade the plan for the Docker Hub, then you are having a lot of things which you uh, can use. For example, if it is $15 per user per month, right? So you can do unlimited Docker, uh, full read, up to 100 users. You can give the access and so on. And there is also, if your company is going to purchase, that will be Docker business account, which is $24 per month. So it totally depends that what kind of so it totally depends that what kind of plan you are taking. According to that, this this will work. Like for example, you want to scan the Docker. So in the free trial account, you cannot do that. You want to scan that there is so if it is there is vulnerability, then you want to uh, then what do you want to do? You don't want to publish that. So in those cases, what we do, we scan, and you want to do it by using DockerHub. So that is not possible in the free trial or personal account. In personal account, there are some limits. Like you can see, I can create only one private Docker image. I can push only one private Docker image, not more than that. So, right.
So what is the difference between the Docker desktop? Like what I am having right now is Docker desktop.
That
Okay,
is on your local system, right? So,
correct.
this is on your system. Now this is Docker Hub, which is on the cloud.
Okay, like remote repository.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
And what is the purpose of Docker desktop? If it's
Docker
already
desktop
installed
is
in.
that is for Windows. For example, you are using Windows-based system, and what do you want? You want that your text means you want to use Docker on your Windows-based system. So in that case, you need to use the um, Docker desktop, right? In Windows desktop, in Linux operating system, you need to install the command line.
Well, I was able to execute all the command which was shared earlier in our previous classes. So I was able to execute that command in this.
Yes,
Uh,
you can because you are using Docker commands, right? So
hmm.
Docker commands you can run on if you have installed Docker desktop on your machine. So that you can do. So there is no difference when you install Docker on your Ubuntu system or you install
Hmm.
Docker on your Windows by using Docker Desktop. There is no difference. The only difference is that base operating system. So in Docker Desktop, the base operating system is Windows, and it also, because it is giving the desktop version, right? So
Hmm.
so you will have more, you can say, functionalities, like you can, uh, there is a GUI. You can use that GUI to see your Docker images, containers, and other things.
Clear.
And Docker Hub is a remote repository, which is basically uh, which is basically created by Docker only, Docker company only, right? And their main job is that you need to have the Docker image. Means if you want to push the Docker image, and it's a public Docker image, you are an open source developer. So in that case, you can use this Docker Hub, right? So because you can push unlimited Docker images which are publicly available, right? So this is a repository. But if you are working for a company and company wants to push their Docker images on the Docker Hub, they need to have the account first on that Docker Hub for their employees, right? And they need to pay. Then they need to use the business plan or the other plan, right? So that is the difference. All right. So now, if you want to make a, let's consider this a public Docker image, right? And you want to make it private. So you can do that. You can go to the settings, and here you can select the visibility settings, and you can say make it private. When you are making it, you just need to give that image, this my Alpine image. So once you make it private, now it will be only accessible to me. Now it's not public, and I can create maximum one private repository from using the personal account. If it is the company's account, right? So or it is a paid account, then I can create multiple private repositories. Okay. So now we have seen that how we can push the Docker image to the Docker. Okay. So what I'll do, I will now log out, or say Docker, and log out from my private, from my Docker hub. So I simply said Docker logout. So earlier I have logged into my Docker hub by using Docker login command, but now Docker logout. So I'm basically logged out from my Docker account from my terminal. Now, next thing is that sometimes what happens, your company, they don't want to push the Docker image to the Docker Hub or cloud-based environment. The reason is that they think that these Docker images are everything for for the company, because these are the application Docker, and they want to make it more secure. So one way is that you can use the private registry. Okay, you can use the private registry. What is private registry? Private registry is considered one of the secure private registry. So basically, what we are doing here, we are so we are pushing the Docker images to a private registry server. And this private registry server is
this private registry server is using a Docker image, which is the registry Docker image. So this registry Docker image is available publicly on the Docker Hub. So what I will do first, to create this private registry, I will say Docker and pull registry Docker image. So I will pull this Docker image. So images now, images pulled. If I say Docker images, so now you can see there is a registry Docker image. So now what I want to do, I want to create a registry server. To create a registry server, I need to create a registry container. Okay. So registry container runs at port number 5000. So it means if I want to access that registry server, I need to do a port forwarding with port number 5000. Right? So let us do that. Also Docker container run -id. Name of the container you can give anything. I'll give private registry. So, and as I mentioned, it will be running at there is a web application which is running at port number 5000. So it's a -p and 5000 colon 5000. So now I'm using the Docker image, which is the registry Docker image. So container get created. Let us double check. So now this is running. Now if I say curl and localhost, curl command returns the HTTP response. If I say curl localhost colon 5000 slash v2 slash underscore catalog, this is the URL where we can see our repositories or Docker images which we have pushed into the our repository or registry. Okay, as of now, there is nothing. What you can do, you can also, is because I'm using the Azure repository. So, sorry, Azure virtual machine. So, if I take the public IP address of my machine, and I have already opened, I think 5000 I have not opened. That port is not opened, right? So, that port number is not open. Otherwise, you can use that URL with your image, whether you want the output which you are seeing here. If you want to see on the browser, that also you can see. Because I have not opened port number 5000, that's why this will not be visible. Let me open that port number 5000. So I will go to the networking. I will go to the network settings. And here I will have the network security group. Here you can see. So HTTP, SSH, and HTTPS is basically opened. Now, what I want to do. Not here we can create a inbound portal. So what I will do, I will open port number 5000. So source any, destination any, that is fine. And say registry board. Okay. So this rule is added. Now let us double check 5,000. That one. Now what I will do, I will take the public IP address. So I'll take this public IP address and I will go to my browser, colon 5,000 / v2 /_ catalog. Okay. So you can see, let us see in the pretty way. So now there is no repository, right? So now what I want to do, I want to push a Docker image to my repository. Now, to push a Docker image to your local private registry, what you need to do, you need to create the Docker image with a named localhost or loopback IP address, which is 127.0.0.1. So now let me do one thing, Docker images. Let me see how many images. Let me delete all these images first. Docker -a. Let me see what are the container. Only one container. I will say Docker RMI web image, my Nginx image, and another image I want to share. What else? Let me delete this also. RMI. So now I have these images, right? So what I will do, as I mentioned, to push the Docker image to your private registry, your Docker image name should be started with the local host of the loopback IP address. So I will say Docker image tag. I will create a tag and I will say Alpine Docker image. I will say localhost colon 5,000 and / my Alpine image. So I have tagged this image. So now you can see there is a Docker image which is named this. So I want to push this Docker image to my private registry instead of DockerHub. So what I will do, I will say Docker push and this Docker localhost colon 5,000 / my Alpine. So this particular image is pushed to my Docker account, my private registry account. So here you can see I have my Alpine image. Right? Now, if you want to see where exactly it is, whether it is a storing this file somewhere, we can check that. You can run the Docker inspect command for your registry. We have given container name as private registry. So it will go to the private registry and there is a volume mount. So here you can see This is the source where this Docker image is getting stored. And inside the container where lib registry, we will discuss about this mount option in volumes section. No, if I say ls and that path, so here you can see there is Docker under that registry, under that v2, and under that repositories. So you can see my Alpine. So it has stored this Docker image under this part. So it means it has created a copy of your Docker image and which is storing under this particular location. So if you want to remove, you just need to remove it from here. This, so there is this is the physical location of my Docker image. If I remove it from here, you will not be able to see it here. Now, this now what is the benefit of this local repository? Now it will be on your local server. It is not on the internet. Same way you can decide one server within your organization, and on that server you can keep your Docker images, and you can do a pull and push operation. You can pull also. You can say Docker pull and that Docker image. Is this point clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Maybe you need to check this one more time because it is something which is a bit different thing which we are doing. All right. So we have pushed the Docker image to the Docker hub. We are able to push the Docker image to the private system. So there are a few more concepts like Docker volume, Docker networking, Docker compose. Right? So these three topics we'll do one thing. We will discuss tomorrow, and tomorrow we will finish the and Docker Swarm. And tomorrow we will finish this Docker topic. So today we have discussed that how we can push or share the Docker images with others. All right. So
Yes,
let's
clear.
meet tomorrow then.
Sure, 7:30 morning.
Yeah. Thank you.